Guys, today I'm gonna talk about how you should be lean bulking. I'm gonna explain you the science. I'm gonna explain you how many calories you should be eating, how to train, some misconceptions. So let's get right into it. First of all, how many calories should you be eating? And this is also gonna explain you the entire point of the video. It's gonna be that you should not be lean bulking at all, or at least not in the way that you would think lean bulking should be done. So usually people think that lean bulking is around a 200 to 300 caloric surplus, which is the amount of extra calories you eat each day. And that's just not going to be the best option for you if you want to stay lean and build muscle. The best option is actually going to be to main gain. And main gaining is, or at least in my definition, is um, making sure you remain at the same body fat percentage. And if you gain muscle and you want to stay at the same body fat percentage, you should still be gaining fat, but the relative amount of fat that you have on your body will remain the same, even though you're gaining fat. Because if you weigh 150 pounds, 10% body fat will be 15 pounds of fat, but if you're 200 pounds, 10% body fat is going to be 20 pounds of fat. So that's what my definition of main gaining is, and that's what you should be doing. Um, any extra calories that you're eating over maintenance, or at least my definition of maintenance, are not gonna make you gain any more muscle. It's not gonna help your performance. It can decrease your performance if you're eating all sorts of junk food or whatever. It's just not a good idea if you wanna build muscle and if you're already at a healthy body fat percentage. Obviously, if you're in a caloric surplus, or if you already have a lot of fat, you should be recomping or cutting, because you already have a lot of calories on your body stored as extra fat. So you can just use those calories to build muscle. So a lot of people say, yeah, I'm skinny fat. Should I bulk or cut? And the answer is just super obvious. You're skinny and you're fat. And if you're skinny, you should be building muscle, so you should be going to the gym. And if you're fat, you should be eating in a caloric deficit, or use those calories to build muscle, which is what a recomp is, recomposition of your body, which is using the calories that you have as fat to build muscle, which is a very slow process, but that's how that works. And another exception is if you're at a very low body fat percentage, which almost nobody is, and even if you think you are, you're probably not. But if you are very skinny or you don't have any fat at all, and you think you might need to go up in body fat percentage, or you want to go up in body fat percentage, that's just completely fine. I would not go up in body fat percentage if you're 15% body fat or more, which even if you're skinny, you can still be 15% body fat or more. So be careful to not overestimate how lean you are, because most of the time you're not as lean as you think you are. So you don't need to go up in body fat percentage. So, but if you are actually, let's say you're 10% body fat and you don't feel very good, you don't eat much either, you should probably slowly creep up in body fat percentage until you're at a point where you're satisfied. So, for example, you could go up to 12% if you feel good at 12%. You could go up to 15% if that's what body fat percentage you want to be at. It's just going to be up to you. And I would just slowly increase your body fat percentage. There's no rush usually, and it can actually make your diet less sustainable if you instantly try to go up 5% in body fat. Next up, I'm going to demonstrate why main gaining is the best option and why it wouldn't give you more muscle growth if you ate extra calories. And for that example is, let's say you're eating at maintenance calories. You're burning exactly as many calories as you're eating, and you burn X amount of muscle growth with that diet. If you were to eat another 50 grams of Doritos or of Oreos or whatever, you would now be in a more optimal state of building muscle, which obviously that doesn't make any sense. Those Doritos, those Oreos aren't adding anything to your muscle growth, which you will probably be able to realize, because what are Oreos and Doritos gonna do for your muscle growth? Um, and also muscle growth, there is a correlation, of course, between the amount of calories you eat and um, how good you'll be able to put on muscle, or how quickly you can put on muscle or maintain your muscle mass. But that's just it. There's a correlation. It's a trend. If you don't eat anything, you're not going to be able to put on muscle as well as you could if you're in a caloric deficit, or let's say in a 500 caloric deficit. You will still be able to put on muscle if you're a beginner, or most intermediates would also be able to do that. If you're an advanced lifter, you will be able to maintain your muscle mass in a 500 caloric deficit. But if you were to eat in a 2000 caloric deficit, almost nobody will be able to put on any muscle at all. But if you're eating at maintenance, everyone will be able to put on as much muscle as possible. So there's really no need to go over maintenance calories. And also, building muscle happens very slowly. So let's say you're burning or building a few grams of muscle each day. That's just not a lot of calories going towards building muscle, since it's only a few grams and it doesn't take a lot of calories to build a gram of muscle. Next up, something you have to realize is that the gym is always going to be the thing that stimulates muscle growth. And the fun story is that some people come up to me and they ask me, how are you? Do you have any tips for me to gain weight? I can't gain weight. And if you take the information that I just gave you, that if you eat at maintenance, you will still be able to put on the maximum amount of muscle, and you combine it with I can't gain weight, that just means that your training sucks. You're just not putting on any muscle, even though you should be. So if you actually trained well, which you will be training hard with a high frequency and all those things, you would be putting on muscle even if you didn't gain weight. Even if you didn't eat enough to grow, or didn't eat enough to gain weight, you would be recompositioning your body. So you would be building muscle and losing fat at the same time. So this is assuming you're training well. So if you say you can't gain any weight, you're probably just not training well, or you're just impatient. That could also be the case. But if you say you can gain weight, you should be looking to fix your training and maybe your diet, sleep, recovery as well. But you should be looking to improve the things that are going to make you gain muscle. So a good diet, good sleep, good training is going to be most important, of course. So you shouldn't be eating more food. Even if you were to eat more food, you would just have more calories going towards fat mass, which is not what you want. Of course, you're after muscle gain. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you learned something. Ask me any questions if you have them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.